What's happening, everybody? Hope you're all doing good today. So we're ready to do a little bit of live streaming. We're going to turn a pen, and I decided to go with the Junior George pen kit today. This is actually one of my favorites. It has an antique finish, so it doesn't show fingerprints. You really don't have to mess around with it. And I like the look of it too. So let me switch to the overhead, and I'll kind of show you the components. So pretty cool. I decided to go with antique brass. I thought it would go pretty well with these blanks that we made on Wednesday. So we got some brass. It's kind of a simple, kit, but it's like elegant. Like I said, the whatever this antique finish stuff is, you can just touch it, and it doesn't, pick up any fingerprints whatsoever. And it's almost like, I don't know, because the plating is kind of what do they call it? Like weathered. Even if it gets dirty, you couldn't tell because it already kind of had that dirty look, So that's what that's one of the ones. That's actually the kit, the pen that I've had for the longest. My own personal carry one is with the antique silver. So that's what we're going to turn today. And here's the results. I don't know if you guys saw the shorts or Instagram. I actually posted on TikTok even the demolding of these, but they turned out pretty awesome looking. I'm super excited to see how these things turn. The tough thing about the vertical pours is you don't really know exactly what's going on the inside. This is not really indicative of what the pen is going to look like in the end. But you have an idea, you get the colors and all that stuff. So I got a blank all ready to go. One thing that I want to note, you can maybe see the black marks here. So when I cut these things, in the end, with this just being kind of color swirls, I don't know that lining up the blank the way that it needs to be, to line up perfect is really a big deal. However, I do mark it, and then I also mark on the insides of the blank. So when it comes time to assemble, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can kind of see that mark in there. So I just take a Sharpie. Camera doesn't really want to focus on this. Anyway, there's a mark here and a mark there. And that way, when it comes time to assemble, I have marks to line up everything. So it should be that's kind of a fun little trick that I do. That's especially if you have like wood grain patterns, or, certain swirl patterns and things. A lot of times you can just look at the blank and find like what it's supposed to be like, or find the best looking orientation. Like I said, in this case, a lot of times with just kind of random color swirl things like this, it may not really matter, So let me see who was first. Mike McEwen was first. I heard that I just saw that you have COVID. Sorry about that. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully fast recovery. My sister just had it, actually. Our whole family, like my immediate family, had stayed away from it until she got it a few weeks ago. And it kind of hit her hard too, yeah. Fatigue and all that kind of stuff. Not fun at all. So what are you guys all working on in your shops this weekend? I'd love to hear. I'm going to get the phone fired up so I can kind of watch the chat over at the lathe. I'm trying to think if there's anything. We do have a couple links I can drop. So I have a link down in the show notes, but here's a link to the Junior George pen kits if you want to check those out at Turner's Warehouse. Number one. And then number two, we are having a sale, 15% off on on Team Color blanks on my website. So you just go to that link, you can, add whatever you want, and then type in, when you're checking out, type in touchdown, and that'll save you 15% if you need some Team Color blanks. The holidays are coming up and football is starting. That's why we use the code touchdown for this one, just to kind of kick it off. It's kind of like the gift season, football season's coming around, so the Team Color blanks usually start selling right about now. So I thought, let's have a little bit of a sale, get people going on this stuff a little bit early, hopefully. So let's see, is there anything else? I saw Kim's at a wedding reception. Have fun with that. The replay will be up if you want to watch the replay. And let's see, who else we got here? Mutt Nuts is here. And Mark. Brickhouse is here. How's it going? And Brian over at TBC Bushings. And I think that's about it. Let's see here. Mark finished a vegetable grater handle. Oh, nice. Not mad at all. I like that. Oh, nice. Yeah. Give me a tag on that. I want to see that. Just tag me in the post and I'll check it out. Sometimes I miss people's stuff because the Instagram thing the feed doesn't tell me about stuff. Yeah, I have a hard time sometimes. Some kits or something like that. I don't know. It does make it kind of difficult. Like it's almost like another way to do it would actually be maybe like a white pen or a whiteout. Might show up a little bit better when you're marking. I think there's other people do it a slightly different way. You could maybe mark the end of the blank, which would be a lot easier than inside the tube, possibly. I don't know. And if the only problem with whiteout is that stuff's kind of thick, and it may kind of be a problem when you're assembling it. Maybe there's a white Sharpie. I don't know. Silver Sharpie, maybe. I don't know. Starting a new project. Blanton's bourbon cork display. That's pretty cool. Nice. Yeah, I wish I had a little bit more time. I'm kind of a slow worker. I need time to kind of focus on stuff, so that's why a lot of times I'm like, oh, last minute, kind of throw things together. I wish I had a little bit more time to kind of like sit down and really kind of plan things out a little bit more. I'm doing the Rollerball. I'm not a huge fountain pen fan personally, but the beauty of this kit is you can actually swap out. You're not necessarily totally set. You could get the fountain nib for one of these, or switch it out if you have a couple of the kits. And so technically these kits, the junior kits, could go either way. They even sell, I don't know if Turner's has this, but I have seen in the past where you can actually get a kit that has both options in the same kit. So it's just a matter of swapping that nib out and you can have a fountain pen. Oh, nice. That'll be cool. With the video brick house. Cool. All right, so I think let's get rolling here. Let's get things turning. Got the lathe over there. We'll head over. And the blanks that we made. So what I'm probably going to do is I'll probably make another, like another batch or so of them. And then those are going to go into the mystery boxes the end of the month. You guys can look forward to that. So hopefully this will turn out good. All right, let me get my phone set up here with YouTube. My channel. And, oh, now what the heck? It didn't switch my. Dang it! It didn't switch the thing out. Hold on a minute. This is making me annoyed. Let me see if I can edit the picture. I have a, yeah, it has the right thumbnail. What the heck's going on? Huh. Well, whatever. YouTube's messing around with my thumbnails. Okay, so is this thing set? Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to use my carbide, negative rake carbide from Easy Wood Tools. The mini finisher is what they call this. It takes the CI3 cutter. So just your standard round one with the negative rake. This is what I usually use for quite a bit of stuff. I really like the round ones because you can really use this for, pens. You could use it for, lidded boxes, like anything, handles, bowls. It kind of is like the one-trick pony, or not one trick. It's the not one trick. That's totally the opposite of what I was saying. The thing that'll handle like anything you want to throw at it. So it's a pretty good tool. If you don't have carbide and you're thinking about getting some, I would probably go with this. And the length is pretty good. Unless you're hogging out gigantic things or something like that, which even if you are, unless you need depth reach, this is a good size, as long as you're not trying to, you can only hang the metal over your rest, this far. But, so as long as you don't need to be like hollowing things out and hanging the bar over, this will handle large projects and anything that you throw at it. So it's pretty fun one. I like this one. Get our dust collection in there. How's that looking? Everything looking good? All right, I'm gonna get a drink real quick before we begin, and then we will start making some shavings. Okay. Hopefully, the folks who have been in the heat zone lately are experiencing a little bit of a cool off like we are here. We got fires right over the hill again though, and I don't know. I have a feeling this one's going to be going for a month or longer before they have any control over it. But so hopefully the folks who are in the path of the fire do not lose their homes. Smoke has been kind of not fun lately. All right, here we go. Is this thing right? Yeah. I'm excited to see what these things look like on the inside. Let's turn the speed up a little. How about that? Oh, it helps to open the blast gate for your... It's like, why is it so dusty? That's better. I think I need a new cutter on this thing. It's okay. I'm going to give my cutter a little bit of a spin. I'm noticing this side is not particularly sharp, so I'm going to just kind of spin it a little bit, hopefully get a little bit more cutting action. Hey, what's up, Clyde? Need more coffee. Quote of the day. All right, so right now what we're doing is turning the body portion of the kit. And we'll get the cap going. Not particularly smooth today. I didn't have any coffee, but I feel jittery. So, see how that goes. All right, let's stop it. Let's get you guys in here. I haven't even seen what this thing looks like. We've kind of cut it back a bit. So we should get a good indication of what this pen is going to be looking like here. It's a little bit blown out, huh? A little bit. I'm going to turn the light down over here. Let me give you guys a little bit more contrast so you can see. Got some of that light purple. So we got some, it's just blobby. Some nice color mixtures going on. One thing to note, sometimes with these glittery types of, when you like mix a glittery thing with non-glittery, just regular mica powder, sometimes it can kind of get all over the place, those little particles. So just a little bit of a warning. You get a little bit more even, I would say, kind of mixtures if you're just going like mica with mica, just to let you know. Sometimes I've seen that. I think either way they all look good. It's not really a big deal, but may get a little bit different results with the glittery micas. Yeah, the detailer. I love the detailer too. They got a couple of different ones. The Mini, which takes the CI4. This one's great. I mean, this thing, you can bury it into like a big blank This was nuts when I first saw them release this specific cutter. I mean, you can like bury it like you're parting, and where both edges, so this is the negative rake. You don't want to do this with a standard cutter, but you could just flat out bury it into a resin blank where it's cutting on all, both sides of this thing, and it doesn't even grab or catch, which, I mean, the minute that you do that with a standard cutter, I mean, you get a catch on it. It's just nuts. I'm still blown away by the negative rake, whatever, cutter action. It's really good stuff. They also have a mid-size one that has like a really long, sharp point. That one's really good to get into like really tight spaces and just nibble away things. So it's tough because I'm like, we're all on a budget, but I'm like, man, you could just get every single one of them because they all work great. And I was kind of lucky. I'm not like sponsored by Easywood Tools, really. We just kind of work together, but I got lucky because I was on the team, quote unquote. They asked me to do testing when they were coming out with these negative rake cutters. And so I'm like, and at that time, I didn't really have a whole, I had like one or two of their carbide tools, that was it. And so I was kind of like, well, I can do testing, but you're gonna have to send me some tools. See what I did there? I said, all right, we'll send you some tools. I said, I can't really test them if I don't have the tools. So I got a little bit lucky on that one. I feel really lucky though, because I had been using other brands before that, thinking I was saving money. And I gotta be honest, their carbide is longer lasting and better than most of the other ones, at least the ones I was using. I was using like the cheapest stuff on the planet because I only used it every once in a while, but I started out using, your normal like, high-speed steel tools. And I use carbide for difficult materials mostly. Once I did a lot of testing with these new negative rakes, I was like, that's it. These just work. Yeah, I love the round blanks. I know. I'm super stoked about kind of moving, I'm not getting rid of like square blanks from my, website or, that it's not like I'm never going to make them again. It's just, I'm super excited about these kind of color swirl, with the Lumalite clear in the round, because they do have quite a few advantages. They are a little different, there's a little bit of a different look than the ones that I was making before, but to be honest, now that I've kind of spent the time to like really figure out how to make these and get certain results and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I actually kind of like these a little better, which is kind of sad because I've been doing the other ones for like 10 years, but I kind of feel like I actually have at this point a little bit more control, or at least like consistency. I think I can get a little bit more consistent results doing them vertically. It's kind of crazy. One of my biggest problems is when that temperature change happens in the, when you get into the summer. That really screws me up because it really does affect a lot of things with my pores for color swirls. And since climate controlling my shop is not an option, I've just kind of dealt with it. But I mean, honestly, it takes me a couple of weeks to really get kind of comfortable and get things dialed in again. And a lot of it's not so much like the temperature thing, it's the technique a little bit more. And I think, I mean, I'm getting I can do these vertical ones pretty fine in the summer. And I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of difference. I think it's just going to actually be easier in the winter. But I'm not going to have to really change the way that I do things at all, or the movements or anything like that, I don't think. We'll have to see, but we're not there yet, you know. All right, so we're just getting this thing just about there. Kind of easing into it here. Getting those bushings ready. Well, there's nothing wrong with the square blanks either, though, like I said. And the problem is you can't get away from square if you're putting stuff in them. That's what I was saying. Like, this is just for some of the color swirl blanks that I sell on my website. I just decided, you know, I'll be able to offer these to the bespoke pen makers now. That was one of the things that I wanted to do, why I was switching, because I just refused to make really long molds in square. So I just never made those before. So that was one of the things for me as selling pen blanks. I wanted to broaden my horizons. And I mean, one day I really would like to get into making bespoke pens. I think they're just so fun. They're so cool looking. So I had a few reasons, but you're not going to get away. Like if I'm doing pine cone blanks, I'm not doing round. Or like any of the kind of Dunkin' junk things, you really need a brick. So, you know, I don't think that it was a waste of money, depending on what you're doing. All right, I think that's probably pretty good. Let me get this just a little bit thinner down here. All right, I think we're good. Stop it, check it out. Oh yeah, feeling pretty good. Okay, let's do some sanding. Everybody's favorite. I know it's mine. I'm gonna start with 240 grit. I wish Abranet was like color coded. That would be really sweet. I know there are some brands out there that are. I've used a few and I wasn't particularly happy with them. I didn't think they were as high quality as Abranet, so I'd rather. One thing you can do is just write on the back with like a Sharpie. You just got to remember to do that when you cut it off or whatever. So 240 grit. Aura Rings has a question. Yeah, but I'm not very interested in knocking the corners off and doing all that stuff. My thing was for selling pens to people that do that stuff, I was unwilling to make the blanks that big. I don't want to pour super long bricks. It's more of a hassle than it was worth for me. And it would force me to kind of change things. Pouring into a square mold, I can get pretty consistent results, but if it was rectangular, it would change things a little bit for the way that I do them. It's just I do so many of them. I have things I have muscle memory with the way that I do things, and it just doesn't. It forces me to change things, and the consistency kind of goes out the window. Plus, it's just a pain dealing with the pressure pots. You have to set it up on its side, and I just didn't really want to do that stuff. But if you're doing it vertically, it's so much easier. It's kind of the same technique exactly. You don't have to change a whole lot. This is just, I'm not saying that anybody else should do this. This is just what I currently feel. I'm not saying it's even right or correct or whatever, but this is my rationale for doing it. And I just felt like now's the time. I really never put time into really focusing on pouring vertical pen blanks ever. So I figured even if it doesn't work, at least I understand the process and have gotten, a good amount of like practice doing it. I would just do it every once in a while, and I always got reasonably fine results, but without pouring 100 different pours and seeing what happens if you try slightly different things, experimenting with it, I'm the type of person that has to do that. I'm not going to be satisfied by doing a couple pours and saying, well, that's good enough, because it usually doesn't end up, you find out that it's not working exactly. You don't exactly know what's causing certain things to happen, and I like to really delve into that stuff. So Aura Rings has a question. Have I ever put a 1 ounce sealed plastic liquor bottle in resin? No, I've never done that. I would probably, if you're going to do that, I probably would not recommend pressure, because it's probably going to collapse the bottle. I kind of found that, so something that's somewhat similar maybe is I did the Peeps, those marshmallow, well, let's just call it marshmallows. So, the Easter Peep things. And the problem is they collapse. The pressure collapses these things because there's like air pockets, air bubbles in these things, and it collapses it, and it doesn't really come back, right? So what I think is the best way to do it, and the way to deal with, even if you're doing like a marshmallow, is don't use pressure. Use a resin that you don't need to pressurize, and you should be good. That way, it's the pressure pot is what collapses that and all that. The other thing is the heat could be somewhat problematic, maybe, but I do think that your best bet is to go no pressure on things like that, just so that doesn't cause issues with, deforming the object in any way. And I would go for something like a deep pour type, epoxy. The other way you could do it is layer it. If you're not really turning the thing, if you're just making like a diorama, you could get away with doing multiple layers. That could work too. But if you're turning it, you really don't want to have to cut into it, because you'll see those layers mark the witness lines. Oh yeah, I know you can make a bespoke pen out of anything. I'm just not interested in selling them like that. That's the tough thing, is sometimes I talk about things and people don't really realize I'm looking at it from a business selling these blanks perspective, and there's just certain things that take too much time for it to be really worth it, or I just don't really want to do it, So I'd rather do other ways or other things. But yeah, if you just want to make a blank, a bespoke pen, you can do it out of anything. I agree. I've seen some really cool ones, actually. People make them out of all kinds of stuff. I'm actually gonna do a little bit of vertical or whatever, lengthwise sanding with this on the 400 before we move on. And so somebody asked, Zona paper or Magi Juice? Both, actually. But I only use the first couple, which it doesn't matter. The thing is, you just want to get it sanded to like around somewhere between like 1200 and 2000 grit. then go to your magic juice. I prefer to wet sand once I get above 400, and those Zona papers just are killer. Those things work great, so that's what I use. I use the first 2 or 3 grits of those and then move on to the magic juice. All right, so let's wipe that off. This is just denatured alcohol, just to kind of clean off any dust or anything. Man, that thing's looking pretty wicked. Look at that. Look at that red. I really like that. That's going to really pop once we get it polished up. Okay, so now we can turn the stupid dust collector off. The beast. Move over to our, and then now I go over to the wet sanding with Kid Cooper. What's up? Oh, you know, we're just doing a little bit of pen turning, having some fun. Probably should have got new water, but whatever. We'll be okay. Yeah, you can do bottles. I've seen it. Black Forest Wood Company's done it. They did like a full 1/5 of like Jack Daniels or something like that. Glass bottle though, in that case. I've seen a few people do it, but especially because you're talking about plastic, if you have it capped, I think the pressure pot is going to cause issues. And I can't remember. I don't remember if Black Forest did it pressurized. I kind of doubt it. But I've just found that can cause more issues than you want to deal with. So it's better to just go with a really slow setting, deep pour type epoxy, and just let it, sit kind of thing. In that case, you might, that's an instance where, because most of the time people say, oh, should I use vacuum or pressure for resin casting? And I don't typically recommend vacuum, but you might want to actually vacuum degas the resin after you've mixed it up. Just to kind of like do a quick one, and you got to use an epoxy resin that can handle the vacuum. One thing that can happen is if you have an epoxy that's got certain chemicals in it, it can actually make it boil. Like if it's got some like acetone in it at all. So that's why there's a bunch of issues with vacuum. But if you get one that's made to do all that stuff, that can be vacuum, be put under vacuum with no problems, and has a really long working time, mix it up real good, and then vacuum degas it before you pour it. And then just let it sit out. Don't pressurize it. I think that's probably going to be your best option. Yeah, magic juice is really good stuff. It just works well. And the other thing that I've kind of found is it really doesn't. One thing that can happen that I found with like buffing, even, is eventually, it kind of will dull a little bit. I mean, eventually anything will. So magic juice isn't like immune to this, but I've found like when I would buff pens, like I would be very careful. You always see me wearing gloves when I'm assembling and stuff, and I still do that anyway. But it just doesn't take on fingerprints as much when you use magic juice, I don't think. This is not a scientific experiment, but just seems to stay glossier longer. So it's pretty good stuff. I like it. Yeah, what I really like about the magic juice is they're like a 12-ounce sample thing or something like that. Smaller kind of sample size, which I got to be honest, it's going to last a good amount of time, and it's only like $12. So it's one of those things that, it's not like, it was always tough because I used to recommend people use buffing wheels because I always got really good results with it. It was my favorite. Either that or just, do wet sanding all the way up with, Zona paper or whatever. But if you wanted to do buffing, if you want to try buffing out, you got to buy this, buffing setup, and it's kind of tough for people to be, if they're getting decent results already, they're like, eh. But for $12, I mean, there's nothing no change, no setup. Give it a shot. If it sucks, then don't, throw it away. Whatever, $12. Better than like 100 that you don't use. The one nice thing about buffing wheels, though, is, Magic Juice is great for pens, maybe bottle stoppers, smaller things, but you're still not really going to get away from buffing. If you're doing larger, like eggs, spheres, it's really kind of the only way that you can get around, or, get it, polished up. It's the best way, I think. So, it's tough. You need, this is the part of the, I think everybody knows the lathe is probably going to be the cheapest component of your turning setup, because all the other accessories that go with it, depending on what you're trying to do, they are the ones that add up. I think that's why a lot of people just do bowls, because you can that's like a fairly cheap way. You need a chuck. You even probably get away without a chuck. And like, I mean, you could even just simplify it and just go with a carbide turning tool. That's about it. Pens have a lot of things, but I guess, the buffing setup, if you want to do that. You could get around that by just maybe spray finishing stuff. I don't know. Yeah, deep pour works really well. That's what I tried with, I used that with those Peeps. I tried that stuff and it worked great. That's a pretty good one. I really like, it turns well too. It's very similar feeling and like all the characteristics as Alumilite Clear Slow. Amazing Clear Cast is a little bit different feeling. Nothing, well, the regular Amazing Clear Cast, I don't like that stuff. That stuff is pretty hard. The ACC Plus is actually a little bit softer, and I like that a little bit better. Plus you get the UV inhibition, but it's still just a little bit different than Alumilite Clear Slow. That's my favorite to turn. It's like the right, perfect like hardness and all the things, polishable. And the deep pour I found was very similar to Clear Slow. Connie, what's happening? What are you up to? Are you settling in the new house? All right, so this is the gray. I do the green and the gray. I think I might even do the blue today. I'm feeling frisky. We're gonna do the blue one just for the heck of it. And that should get us up to like 2,000 or so. 2,000 grit, something like that. We'll go to Magic Juice. Where's my blue? My boy blue. There it is. The blue one. Let's do a little bit with the blue here. Take it one step higher. The Keys Monday morning, nice. That's awesome. That'll be fun. When I was in college, I moved like every year. And I got to be honest, like, I mean, the moving sucks, but I really liked being able to I mean, it is like spring cleaning, obviously. You're cleaning the whole house out. And I really like that being able to kind of redo stuff, reset stuff up, hopefully get a better system, get rid of junk you don't need, and kind of start fresh. I always really like that. We've been in the same apartment for 10 years at this point, and I'm not even looking forward to if we ever do get a chance to move out. It's gonna suck. But it will be nice to kind of start over, reorganize everything, and hopefully make it a little bit better, Mark, what's up? Okay, so we got our wet sanding done. Now it's time to do some magic juicing. I like to just kind of blow this thing off after I do the wet sanding, just to get water out of a little bit of water usually seeps in between the bushings. All right, now I'm going to switch over to the I find that these blue shop towels are a lot softer than the Bounty paper towels that I use for most things. So they're just not as abrasive, you know. Gotta go get a few more of those. And you could even use, like, just be careful with this stuff, you know, certain types of things. You don't want to really be using like a cotton rag or something. But there are some, what is it called? Microfiber type towels that are, you know, if they did get caught on the thing, they'll rip. So there are a few even softer things that you could use. I found that these blue towels work fine for me. Just hanging, that's cool. You guys got a lot of smoke over there where you're at? There's fires like everywhere around us. I was looking at like the smoke map. One of my like trail things does that, and there's fires everywhere in the west. All right, so we're gonna speed this thing up to about 2,000. Maybe a little less. Slow it down, apply it. Step 1, here we go. I just do light pressure. You don't need to like be pressing hard or anything. This isn't like a friction polish. You just want to let that plastic polish stuff, the paste, just kind of, you know, abrade the surface. Let it do the work. You also really don't want to introduce a bunch of heat either. So, you know, light pressure. Then I just flip it, wipe it off, and move on. Pretty simple. Magic juice. Tons of it, yeah, thought so. We did really good. I thought we were maybe gonna get through summer unscathed. And then the mosquito, they're calling it mosquito fire, which is like right over the mountains from us. That just broke out, and it's 0% contained with no no hope for it being at all contained anytime soon. And I was like, oh man. So the wind just blows from, you know, west to east. Whoa, see? That's why you don't want to use something that you know can't rip. Because if it gets caught in there and it grabs your finger too, that just kind of startled me a little bit, but it wouldn't have been dangerous because it's a paper towel. We're going to redo this one. How about that? Stuff kind of gets a little grabby when it kind of dries a little bit. It can kind of dry out on there. And it'll just grab. So that's why I don't, you know, to me, not really worth using some kind of weird cloth. Even if you cut it into small squares, it can still grab. And if it gets your finger, it ain't going to feel so good. Not at all. I think that number 2 is the one. That one seems to be particularly grabby. I don't know. Did anybody watch the Thor, the new Thor movie? We just watched that. It's on Disney Plus. We just watched it, and it was pretty good. I mean, some of the other ones I like better. I'm kind of a Marvel movie fan, but I think the funniest thing was the goats are hilarious. I love that. Need to get that soundbite. We'll use that on the stream sometime. Yeah, that doesn't happen that often, Connie. You know, that's the thing, is people are like, oh, be careful, watch out, you know, but you just don't see it that often. But man, I'll tell you what, if you were using like a big rag, I mean, it'll break your hand, you know, like the lathe ain't gonna stop. So if the rag doesn't rip, I mean, you can imagine, like, it is gonna be an injury, you know. Just not too long ago, even another one that you guys, you know, anybody that has long hair, I mean, I would say that is the most dangerous thing on a lathe. Just because you're talking about your head, right? You know, but Chad's wife, Amy, got her hair caught in the lathe. And I mean, they knew too. And it happens so quick that you got to be careful with these things. Anything you can do to just keep yourself away from it even possibly happening is a good thing to do. So yeah, I'm usually, and even in rings too. It's kind of hard unless you're using like a chuck. I think it'd be hard to get your rings, you know, caught somehow in this setup for pen turning and stuff. But I use a lot of different machines, and I have a titanium. You know, my ring is titanium, which is pretty tough. Like it's hard to get that cut off even. But if any machine that's, you know, motorized grabs that ring, oh, I mean, it'll rip your finger off. So I finally, you know, I'd been seeing these silicone rings for a long time. And I mean, if anything grabs that, I mean, it may kind of, you know, pull your hand, but it's not really gonna like rip my finger off. The silicone's gonna rip first. So always be kind of cognizant of that. Even, you know, one tool that a lot of people don't really think too much about, but even the drill press, that one, man, it's very infrequent that things happen, but I mean, it can just, if you're not careful, that'll get you. So just be careful with that stuff, guys. I don't want to get hurt. It's no fun when people get hurt. Jake's here. What's up, man? Yeah, the thick ones seem a little grabbier. You got the Idaho. Yeah, I was looking at the smoke map, and I think we were even going to get some of the Idaho smoke, and I'm like, come on. The wind usually blows towards the east. It's going to switch on us and blow Idaho smoke down here. Come on. Let's be reasonable, people. Man, that thing is glossy, guys. Whoo-wee. Okay, the big reveal. Let's see how this turns out. I haven't stopped it yet. I'm just getting things set up here. Hopefully that's, I'm gonna get this thing out of the way. Maybe that'll kind of help. Oh, there. Here we go. Ooh, look at that. Woo! Man, I mean, I think I might just use this as a mirror. Pictures of this, not gonna be fun. Wow. Looking good. I like those little gold flecks in there. That's cool. Didn't get a lot of blurple in this part of it, so hopefully we'll get a little bit. We got a little vein of it. Kind of looks like some kind of like a gem, you know, like vein of gems that we polished up like in a geode or something like that. Kind of cool looking. All right. So what are you up to, Jake? You did some cool stuff today. How did that the coasters turn out? Yeah, long hair and drill press too, yeah. I mean, long hair and things spinning, not compatible. None of them. And another one is actually, you know, if you're working on your car, you got to watch that fan belt with hair too. Oh, Connie, sorry, I just saw that, Connie. You get a dedicated resin room. That's sweet. You just flooded your house? See that? What does that mean? Your house get flooded? Sorry, I was scrolling. For the lessons, thanks, buddy. I was just trying to keep people safe, man. Trying to keep them safe. Try to keep those people safe. Yeah, let me know about those coasters. Did you guys see that? If you didn't see the Saturday morning cartoons today, guys, I highly recommend going and checking it out, doing the replay, because not only I was all excited about the the crop circle platter, he was calling it. Those things turned out really cool, and then or you know, they look cool when you're pouring it. And but he also did some ocean. Is it, what do you call it? Like the beach kind of thing? What do they call that? Ocean waves, whatever. You know, like those types of pours that you see on like charcuterie. That's the dumbest word. Charcuterie. I can never say it. Charcuterie boards. He was doing that on coasters. It was really cool. Okay, so here's the cap. Let's get the cap going here, guys. Oh yeah. Too much pressure, just enough. Oh. I would really like to come up with a better system for holding this thing that I can like move and adjust easier. Okay, I think I got it. Whew. That was exhausting. Oh, leak in the wall. Oh. That sucks. Working on the brakes, huh? I can change my oil, but I'm not really that mechanical when it comes to cars. Although, I gotta be honest, I don't really trust mechanics anymore. Half the time I take it in and they're... For one example, like I know generally about cars. You know, I'm not totally stupid. I'm just not particularly patient with stuff. So like when bolts don't come loose, then, you know, I usually start just pounding things, but hitting things. And I'm not good at like, you know, some of the mechanics, you know, people that work on cars that are good at that stuff, like you got to really kind of have some tricks, you know. You got to know the ways to do things because they can be really a pain trying to get things apart and back together. And you got to have some patience. But I took my truck in and I was having some weird thing, and I was like, hey, are my shocks good? Because I haven't replaced them. My truck's got like 200,000 miles on it or something like that, or at least 150 at that time. I'm like, check the shocks. And they're like, oh, they're fine. They're fine. They ended up replacing the entire front end piece by piece. And then at the end, I'm still getting the same problem with weird wear on my tires and stuff. And finally, I had them replace the shocks. Oh, guess what? It fixed it. So half the time I should probably just work on my own thing or whatever, but other things, I don't know, you know. Yeah, I've seen the lathe track thing. I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to do that. It's kind of expensive. It just seems like I could figure out a way if I actually thought about it to kind of get the way I'm doing things set up, but I might give it another look sometime. We'll see. My thing is I don't really want to have to hook things to my lathe if I don't have to. I don't know. I'll take a look at it though. Maybe I don't know exactly how it works. I've seen other people also like have an extra thing that they put between the ways, and I am not doing that. Because then it's going to be in the way of your tool rest and banjo and all that. No thanks. I think that other thing, the Wood Turning Wonders one, I think it hooks to the back side of your ways. So I think it is out of the way, but out of the way, no pun intended. Okay, let's do some turning. What do you guys think? I'll quit yapping. All right, I'm going to stop it. Give you guys a little bit of a preview. what this thing's looking like. Ooh, got a few more little, I'm actually kind of surprised. We got a lot more of the lighter purple in this than I expected. The blurple must have gone, let me go get the rest of the blank. Must have kind of ended up somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe it dissipated a little bit. We got some pretty good like layering. And if you saw the way that I poured this, I was doing pretty small amounts per pour. You can, if you really want the colors to be a little bit more standout-ish than kind of blended like this, then just pour a little bit more, at a time per pass. You don't have to do like super tiny amounts necessarily. You can add a little bit more and kind of block it up a little bit more, Oh, I might check that out. Yeah, the flexible rods, that's cool. Purple and sparkles. Heck yeah. Yeah, they look good. Whoops. Opened up the engine compartment of my lathe on accident. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Quite a bit more to take down here on the ends. Oh, camera mount, yeah. You never made it? Yeah, I wanna look again. I'm never like super happy with, I don't know, the camera angles. One of these days I want to really get in over there, and like one of the problems is that overhead camera that we do the casting on, like we had that issue where, I'd like to kind of get a bit of a side view. So I'm like, I don't know, is overhead really the best? I want to kind of play around with my camera angles again. And also, the camera blocks, like when I do like a close-up overhead, the camera's blocking the lights that are over it, so it, you zoom in and everything gets really dark, and that's really annoying. So I either need to get a light somehow on the rig or come up with some other different kind of thing. And then the other thing is I don't like that it's mounted to that table that I work on because it's wobbly. It's just a rollaway toolbox, and so if I close the doors or drawers in the cabinet or lean on it, it shakes the camera, and I'm like, ugh. But I haven't come up with a better system yet. It's probably going to require me to like build like some kind of cage contraption or something. And I'd really like, one thing that I'd really like for this setup is this camera right here. I'd really like to see if, I believe that there's a way to get a wider angle lens kind of adapter thing. I would really like that. That would be great. Because I could get it in closer, yet still get more, you know. I don't really need it really far away. This thing's made for like family vacations where you're across the beach, you know, and you can zoom in, but it's like a super tight kind of thing. So someday. But money's tight, so probably not buying any new equipment anytime soon. I know, it's hard getting camera angles and lighting and all that stuff like set the way that you want it. It just, unless you do exactly the same thing every single time, which I don't, it's not like I do things totally different, but I mean, I don't know, like I watch, there's a lot of people that live stream where it's just they're sitting at a desk talking to you, and that's it. And I'm like, how easy is your setup? And it actually makes me a little bit angry when people can't even get that right. And I'm like, man, you literally need a ring light and a camera. Come on. It can get kind of hard for these, you know, video filming setups in workshops, I think. And don't even get me started with audio. The woes of a YouTuber. Our lives are so difficult. All right, we got just a little bit more to go on these. That's a lot of really cool, rich colors in this thing. I like it. Alright, I think I'm liking the shape for the most part. Got a little bit more to take off on this end. Still a little bit more. Okay, I think that might be good. Let's stop it, see what we got. That's nice. It's a little bit bumpy up here. I'm going to flatten this out a little bit. Got a kind of a bulge. Sometimes I like to get like down and really look at that profile. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see from overhead what the profile is looking like. It's chunkier than I'd like it to be. There we go, that's a little bit better. All right. mean, I like them chunky, but that was a little bit too much, you know? All right. Go for a little bit of 240 grit. This thing cleaned up. We got a few little, there's some tool marks going on here. It'll take a second. Jen, what's up? What are you up to? Are you feeling better after that migraine? My mom gets migraines really, really bad. It's kind of like a daily thing. So I know how debilitating those things are. I've had a couple myself, but it's just blinding pain right in your brain. It's horrible. We're going with like one of the ones we made on Wednesday. I don't know. I didn't really number them or anything. I'll go get you a picture of one real quick here. I think you saw the oh, that's the wrong camera view. There we go. Here they are. I use one of these guys. Pretty fun, pretty fun. Let's go back to the Canon. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Well, you just take it easy. You just sit back, relax, watch a little bit of sanding. That'll really fix your migraine. Just watch me sand. That would probably give me a migraine, just watching someone sand all day. All right, so we're almost done with the 240 here. Yeah, so we did the Yakamata, whatever the red was from Eye Candy, Blurple with the Starlight, the chunky Starlight, the 10K Gold, and Lilac from P-Town. The Lilac's really, I don't know, for me the Lilac really is popping out on this blank. It's kind of cool looking. I don't think that would be the case, like, you know, every time I poured. I don't think I poured more of that necessarily. It just kind of worked out that it's in these areas generally, I guess. I don't know. I might have poured like a little bit more, you know, like more of it, like I dumped more on one or two pours or something like that on this blank. That's kind of the fun thing about these. You, depending on like how much you pour, one or two colors may kind of stick out, and you get the rest are a little bit more like a accent. All right, so wipe this off with some denatured alcohol. Move over. I'm going to get a new piece of 400 grit. It seemed like it was ready for the trash. There we go. Nice and easy. Let the sandpaper do the work. Yamagata, there you go, yeah. Not gonna work here anymore. Anybody like Office Space? It's like my favorite movie. I haven't watched it for a while. I think we're gonna have to add that to the playlist, to the watch list, whatever. All right, then I'm just gonna do a little bit of lengthwise sanding, lightly. My stapler. I have that red stapler. I ended up buying one. I love that thing. It's so funny. I don't know where I got it. It wasn't like it was like an Office Space, you know, like marketed thing with like that on like the packaging or something. It was just like at Office Depot, and I was like, oh my god, they literally have the red stapler. Should have bought two. One for the shop. I think at that time I don't think I had a shop really. But, okay, so we got that all done. Time to do a little bit of wet sanding. All right, move the wet sanding station over here. $16 pieces of flare. Oh, I forgot about that. Yep. Oh man, the flare. That's so funny. Well, this pen will be available. I'm not doing anything with it. That's something I totally failed to do, because usually these things just kind of sit around in my shop. I'm like, oh yeah. Somebody actually just on my Instagram commented on the, you know, we did the 3D printed like American flag blank, made a pen out of it, and they commented on that, and they're like, I want one of these. And I thought they were talking about the blanks. And so I'm like, well, I might, you know, put blanks up sometime. And she's like, oh, I don't want to turn a pen. I want the pen. And I was like, oh, well, it's still available. Never think to do anything with these things. It's just kind of tough, because I was never particularly good at marketing, selling finished items or anything like that. Like, I was terrible at it, because that's what I used to do before I really got into blank making. That's how I got into blank making, is I was making pens, and I was like, oh, I want to make my own. And like I was terrible at Etsy. Pretty much had to like pay people to buy my things. Advertising wasn't even enough. I'm like, I'll give you $20 if you buy this for $30. Come on. Come on. Come into my shop. Actually, Chad just did a video. So over at, it must be on Turner's Warehouse channel. Or maybe, I guess it's like Chad's channel. I should get a link to that. He just put a video up, I'm pretty sure, on his YouTube that he's like, you know, setting up a booth and selling, doing like the booths, you know, craft fairs and stuff like that. How to do that really well. So that might be, if anybody's doing that kind of stuff, you might get some tips, because Chad's really good at that stuff. Man, that guy can sell. I mean, he can sell you like matches in the middle of a forest fire. All right, let's go to the gray. Did you watch it? I haven't watched it yet. I keep forgetting. Like sometimes the YouTube out. I don't really. I don't know. I usually just the algorithm thing on the homepage usually does a pretty good job, and but it's weird because sometimes it just won't show videos that I would be interested in. I had to go find that one. Keep forgetting to. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like Etsy. I mean, you had to, and I guess it kind of has gotten worse. Like you have to do free shipping at this point. That's what I've heard, and all these different things. And I'm like, well, that's great. So you're just gonna have to charge more, or I don't know. I like having my own website a lot better. I didn't really personally like. There's a lot of people that do really well on there, so I don't know, but I never really figured out the game. I found that I was driving people to Etsy. So, like, the whole marketplace thing really didn't apply to me. You know, and so I'm like paying for ads and I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, man, if I'm driving all the sales, the traffic to my shop, then it makes a lot more sense just to have a website. And this even when I was doing just blanks on there, mostly. So for me, if you're driving all the traffic, I don't know that Etsy makes a whole lot of sense. Like Shopify is a pretty simple setup or things like that, you know, where it's like a all-in-one, you know, just kind of unpack it, pretty easy to set up and it's all there. Those types of websites are good if you can drive the traffic to your site. But, you know, things like Amazon or Etsy, if you can utilize the marketplace, you know, where they drive the traffic, then those things work great. Certain types of things just work better. They're more searchable, you know, on those marketplaces. It's all based on that. And if you don't get your photos like locked in, they got to be excellent photos. You got to think about it. Like the customer is, you know, it's the only thing that they have to go by. So if it looks like junk in the photo or just you can't see it very well, how could they buy it, you know? Yeah, the fees are pretty, I don't know. That's the problem is it's not like you just pay like, you know, I think if you could just leave the listings up there, but you know, if you pay for a listing and then it expires and you keep paying and you're not selling these things, then it starts to kind of, and if you have a lot of them, then it starts to get kind of, at least you know what the fees are on a website like Shopify. And it's pretty reasonable. I think it's like $30 a month. Something like that. I don't really, and really you don't need a whole lot of extra things with it either. The shipping's included, you know, it's built or like built in, you got to pay for it, but built into the thing, and I don't know. Just depends. Just depends. All right, so I think we're ready for some magic juice. Blow that thing off a little bit. I don't think water is really going to do anything to it. It's just, I would imagine it dilutes the paste a little bit. That's my assumption anyway. That's why I blow it off, make sure there's no water kind of seeping out. All right, so we get our little paper towels here. Shop towels ready. I got to go get 2 more. And don't forget, guys, we got, if you are making pens, need some team color blanks, I got team color blanks on sale in my shop right now. I'm kind of celebrating the kickoff of NFL season. Just use the code touchdown and you save 15% on the team color blanks. Pretty exciting. Those ones always kind of pick up right around now with football season kicking off, and man, that thing's looking pretty good. It's like a, I don't know, regal looking. I like to keep my little. It's not like the magic juice is gonna hurt my lathe or anything like that, but I'd rather just leave this thing, leave it covered, in case some of this stuff the polish gets on there. I don't have to wipe it off. Yeah, that's a pretty good plan. I like that. Kind of the initial thing. I mean, the thing is, if you're good at social media, I mean, that can really just drive your traffic. So that's another thing, to kind of think about. In your plan. You may not, I don't know. And that's free, so that's why. One thing that one little bit of advice, thing to think about with marketing, is to just make sure that you're like hanging out in the places where your customers hang out, all right? And so this is why I think I always did better with blanks, because I hung out with pen turners, right? Well, they don't want to buy pens. They're looking for blanks. And so it was easier for me to sell blanks all the time. I don't exactly know or understand necessarily. I don't buy pens. I wouldn't spend, a lot of money on pens necessarily. Back then I was making them. I'm not buying them. And so I didn't really fully understand that where are they at kind of thing. That's another thing to kind of think about, is just make sure you're, if you're going to market, find where they hang out and join the crowd. See, look at that, man. That stuff. Number 2. I don't know about number 2. Watch out for number 2, guys. It'll get you. I gotta be honest, that's actually the only 2 times that's ever happened to me. Maybe I need a little bit more pressure than I was giving. I don't know. The secret to the perfect magic juice finish is 2 coats of number 2. That's funny. Well, if that's where the customers are, you got to hang out in the adult stores. I just love to play with my ShamWow. I think it's so hilarious. I was like, I need ShamWows in my shop. I'm gonna go find them. So I think I bought them like online. Went like hunted them down. I was like, ShamWows, they still got them. Actually, has anybody seen that guy like at one of like the like outdoor things or conventions, and he's up there? It's so funny. I've actually seen him. So good at what he does. Kind of hilarious though. Let's see here. Let me scroll up. I might have missed some. Oh yeah, there have been like manufacturers selling stuff on there. Supposedly I heard a thing that they might be cleaning that up a little bit more lately though. I think I actually heard that on their like investment, what do they call that? The quarterly call thing for investors. I think they actually like addressed that on there. Nice. Yeah, I wish so. My thing, I don't have any desire to like be a part of the Reddit community. But I mean, Reddit, if you can get stuff up there, I mean, that's an easy way. I think Peter Brown was saying that when he kind of started his YouTube channel, like that's how it blew up, was on Reddit. But the thing is, if you are not if you're not a community member, participating community member on Reddit, like they will just eat you for breakfast there. So what I need is for other people to go post stuff that actually are, you know, like do Reddit. Post my videos on Reddit. Tastefully, only if it's useful, you know, but that's a good way to get a lot of exposures to post it there. Like I said, if you're like, if there's a resin kind of thing and somebody's got a problem and it's a helpful video, you know, that answers a question or something like that, that's a good way to kind of get exposure. I kind of wonder, some of the channels out there that I see that like they have like no presence anywhere but like on YouTube, and you're kind of sometimes going, how are they so popular, you know? I think that they might, you know, that may be kind of a thing, is because I'm not in, you know, Reddit or other places similar to that. They might have kind of gotten a little bit of a foothold, and things spread kind of, you know, virally in a sense, and get a lot of looks on some of those other social networks. My main things are Facebook, which I've been meaning to get a little bit more active on Facebook. I kind of got a little disillusioned with Facebook during the pandemic, so I haven't really been hanging out there a whole lot, but Facebook and definitely Instagram. And I don't know if you guys, I don't know, some of you guys might not have been here. I actually posted a TikTok, guys. Oh man, I did it. TikToking it. All right, here we go. The unveiling. Oh, sparkly. Looking good. I like it. I like it. What do you guys think? Man, I'll tell you what, that red's really popping, right? Let's see if I can get that. It just kind of caught my eye. That red is really popping, that Yamagata. Look at that. Woo. Popping the red. That's a good shot of it. So not too bad, you know. I'm pretty happy with these results. Like, you know, that's what I was, part of the thing that I was doing with on the stream, was to kind of share, you know, okay, I mean, really you can just pour standard, and I mean, this is fine with me personally. You got lots of different colors going on. You could also, when you're doing the pouring and all that stuff, you could also like play around with like a larger, well, I don't know for sure on this, but I do think that if you kind of maybe experimented, I'm probably going to do this at some point, but you know, experiment with different thicknesses of the, you know, the stirring stick thing. You know, that could move stuff around and kind of swirl it up a little bit more, and like even trying the bent stick. This isn't a particularly great example, I don't think, of how you would do it necessarily, but you know, like bending the stick, and I think you could get, you know, a little bit more swirling going on, depending. That would require a little bit more you know, practice and testing. I haven't done a whole lot of that. I was a little bit kind of more focused on just using a straight stick, you know, of this size, and just trying to, you know, do how do I pour these things kind of thing. But that's fine for me. That's perfectly acceptable for what I was looking for with these types of things. But you could go even further with it, is kind of what I'm saying. You know, you could really look into this stuff and test and kind of do some different techniques to kind of get slightly different results, you know. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so let's set that aside for now. One thing that I always do is just kind of wipe off the ends once I take the bushings out, so I'll show you that in a sec. I'm going to get set up for the assembly tool thing. Get that thing over on the camera. Probably put some gloves on. whenever I get finished with something, like when you get to the end of a project, I'm like, don't touch it. Don't look at it. Don't. It's perfect. Don't do anything that'll screw it up. Hold your breath. Okay, so switch camera views. I'll show you what I mean. I just kind of wipe off grab a paper towel and just kind of, see all that funky between the water that you were sanding with and the polish getting kind of in between the bushing and the end. I don't know that it really makes that much of a difference, but if you had a lot of junk kind of piled up in there and then you press on a component, it may kind of like squish out, which you could wipe it off, I bet, but we'll just wipe it off now, you know. Okay, so that's all cleaned up. I'm going to look inside my tube. This is where you kind of lose them, but hopefully you can see. Maybe. I think we had better lighting this way somehow. Let me zoom in. Oh, zoom in. Darker, but I might be able to get on camera. How about that? See, there's a little mark in there. Sharpie mark, a little black mark. It's really hard to see, kind of, but so I got that mark. I figured that one out. And ooh, is that right? Yeah, that is. I don't think I did that right. I think I might have. How did I screw that up? Oh, no, okay, maybe that's right. That does not look right to me at all. I think I got my bushings kind of backwards. Okay, well that did not work, guys, because I somehow put the bushings on backwards. But typically you would want to line those things up, and so the way that I think this was going to work, where's my line? We got some red coming through here, and then it would kind of end right there. But I mean, realistically, on a blank like this, like whatever, I don't really think that it matters how I have this thing aligned. I don't think it's going to be, you wouldn't notice that it's not flowing. I really need to get a light around that thing. So somehow I put the bushings on the wrong way, so oops. Not a big deal, but in this case, but I'm going to do a couple things before we start assembling. I'm getting to the point where I actually think this is easier just to do before you even push stuff together. So when you unscrew those components, you know, the nib from the part, let's see if I can get. This happens on like every kit. So I'm going to be quiet and I'll let you listen to the squeaky. Here, let me actually even switch camera views. All right, so what I'm talking about is the nib section. It squeaks and it's really annoying. And if you're selling pens, I highly recommend get a little bit of paste wax or something, and just put a little bit of wax on those threads so that your customer's not like, ugh, chalkboard, nails. And then all I do, you can even use a candle and a pinch and just kind of rub it on there, and that'll take care of that issue. A little bit of paste wax. No squeaky. All right. That's a good little tip to get better results. Same thing on the back end. Although you don't really take that apart as much still. And I find that if you just do this once, it's usually good for like ever. I don't own any pens that I've had to come back and do another coat later, like years later or anything. Should be good. There we go. Okay, So since I don't really need to worry about lining anything up, I'm just going to assemble this thing, and it doesn't really matter how I do it. The only thing that I'm going to kind of stop before I go forward is I'm going to look and see where I really want that clip, but I don't really think the rest of it is that big of a deal. It's going to look good either way. So let's go to this camera. Now, I don't know if you saw that. I can press this whole thing in without even using a press. All right, so if that happens to you, then you need to pull out some CA glue and just give it a little bit of help. This one might actually do the same thing. Oh, no, that's weird. That one's tight. Okay. We'll just... Oh, hold on a minute. Am I doing this right? I am not. Good thing I didn't go all the way. Just gonna grab a punch real quick and just, I didn't push this in very far, so there we go. Man, I am just trying to screw this pen up royally, aren't I? Okay, got it the right way this time. You guys can, let me zoom in a little bit. How about that? See what I mean? It darkens up and it's just really annoying. I'm gonna get a light somewhere. Will this one work? I think I've done this before. I don't know if it actually does anything. I need to get a ring light or something. Oh yeah, that adds a little bit of light at least. Okay, good enough. I'm calling it good. Okay, so we got that put together. Now if you want to, you can kind of, you know, put your two pieces together that mate. And if you want to, you can kind of line this up if you think that it's really going to make any difference. I usually recommend pulling this apart before you press it. If you leave it in, that part can kind of push out this plastic thing. So I like to just kind of get it figured out and then take it back apart. So let me look at this. Is there any way that this really matters? I got to be honest, I don't think it really matters. But what I can do is kind of line up if there's like a side that I really like the colors of or the patterning. I think I like this area right in here. So I'm probably going to end up putting the clip somewhere in this region. Let me just look at this. I'm just thinking, oh, I really like these blues. Here's some of that blurple. All right, so the clip might go there. I do like that. Ooh, I like that too. Okay, so I'm going to line up the blue with that. All right, so this is how I want the pen. So what I'm going to do is just kind of press this down on. Make sure this is, you know, fully closed, fully screwed into this part. Take that away. And then now we got it lined up the way that I want. We can press it together. Nice. Okay, so let's see if I did that right. Ooh, I like that. Really like this little part. I love all that. Okay. Yep, I think I'm... maybe we'll go right there with it. Oh, that one just slides in too. So we're gonna have to get the CA glue out. Do a little bit here. I think I'm gonna go get the other camera too. if it's not dead. And we're gonna get a dual view, so it might help a little bit to kind of see what I'm doing here. I don't know, maybe. Give me 1 second while I move the camera. Hopefully I'm on. Hopefully that'll be a good shot there. Doing stuff. Yeah. I think I'm going to switch to this other one. You can kind of see what I'm doing. I'll get over here while I'm doing it. Okay, so we're just going to get a little bit of CA glue out. I usually go with, I think it's easiest to go with like a thick on something like this. Otherwise it ends up like, you wouldn't really want super thin. Medium might actually be the best way to go, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a toothpick out. Okay. Squeeze a little bit. This is going to be really difficult to get like any good view of, I think. But you get the gist, right? I'm just going to put a little bit on this toothpick. I could use one of those super tiny like, you know, nib things or whatever, but this will work just fine. You don't have any of those little nozzles. And then I'm just going to wipe it on here kind of thin. I don't know if I'm on camera. And I'm putting it more on the front, like where it's going to go into the tube on the front. That way, if it pushes any back, it's not, you don't really want to load up the back end of this thing. Hopefully that makes sense. Otherwise, it can kind of squeeze out really bad. That down. And then all I need to do is just press this in. Oh, well, then now it's like, now I'm going to have to press it, actually, for some reason. Okay. Whatever. Are we on camera? What the heck is going on here? I'm going to take this thing off. One of the nice things about using the thick, oh, did it? Okay, there we go. Okay, well, I don't know why. I guess we really didn't need CA glue because that press fit fine. I don't know what was going on there. Okay, whatever. We got that one done. But we are going to need some CA glue for this other one because it's just, I can just press it in there. Why is it so dark? Come on. Work with me here. Need a camera crew. There. Light. Doesn't really want to come back out, does it? Yeah, it does. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of CA glue to this one as well. I'm going to get a new toothpick. Sorry, I'm not even looking at the chat at this point. I'm trying to focus on this stuff. Well, all you got to do is just change. I mean, if you really need a fountain pen. Oh my goodness. I must have one. Oh, I probably don't have the, but here. So all you got to do, I don't personally like fountain pens. I'm not going to mess with it. I mean, I guess this pen isn't necessarily for me, but with these kits, all you got to do is just change out the nib section. So you can get I can get a fountain pen. If you want to see this in fountain pen, I know this is chrome, but that's the beauty of these things. If somebody wanted one, all I got to do is just get the fountain section and screw it in. So now it's a fountain pen. Look at that. So awesome. But yeah, I don't like messing with fountain pens personally. It's just not my thing. Put that aside. You can have epic. You can have, if rollerballs are not epic, you can have that. If you're going for less epic. Either way you go. That's why I like these junior kits, because you can do whatever you want with them. Like I was saying, some of the kits actually come with both setups in the package. So, but for me, I don't know. I'm just not a. Doesn't really matter what kind it is. It's all about the blank for me, as long as it writes. And so on this one, I'm just going to put it. It's a little bit tight, so I'm just going to put a little bit of CA glue. I don't know if I'm on camera. Can't focus on what I'm doing, and cameras too. I'm just going to put a little bit on this in the front. That's all it really needs, is to be able to like hold it in, you know. But now I got to look at this thing and see, where did I have that? Let me put my pen back together. There we go. Okay, so I wanted to put the nib, I think, right here. Somewhere in there. Or not the nib, the whatever this thing is. Clip. Am I on camera? Okay. I want my clip right there. And I can press it with the gizmo. Like that. And we are all done. Now, the thick, one of the reasons why I like using the thick CA if I have to do that, is it gives you quite a bit of working time also. That's the thing. You really wouldn't want to use like the thin ones, because they're going to set up on you like immediately, and that's just not enough time. And epoxy is too thick. I don't think I'd really go with that. So I would just go with one of the thicker, either a medium, whichever CA glue you go with one that's got a decent amount of time, because you just saw me, you know, you got to kind of mess around with these things sometimes. And it can kind of be a pain, you know, and you don't want that stuff setting up on you right as you're trying to put it together. Again, there's nothing worse than getting to the end and then screwing up. I think that's the worst thing for me. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Mike's back. Nice. Let's see here. Check the other end of the tube. I'll show you the results in a second here. I can't really, well, I guess I could put it together. Okay, I can't go back right now. I want to show you guys what's going on. So we have light now on this thing. So let's do the Sony cam. I'll give you guys a shot. But I mean, that thing's looking pretty wicked, I think. I mean, so that's the thing, is that, could you imagine this in a bespoke kit? I don't want to mess around with that top piece. It'll take a little while for that to fully set up and kind of lock in place. For some reason, that one I didn't even need to CA glue that bottom part. I guess I could put the ink in. How about that? Where's the ink? Uh-oh. I don't see an ink, guys. Let me get an ink. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to look and see. I don't know. Connie, do you like fountain pens or roller balls? There we go. Trying to keep the glare off it a little bit. It's just so shiny. I mean, I don't know. Hard to keep that reflection. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Right there. There's the sweet spot. So there's that piece. I'm not going to put that down on. You know, I'd find some piece of resin sitting on if I just put it down right there. I'm really digging that Yamagata. That really goes well. It goes really well with the purple actually, as well as the gold. I'm really kind of digging that. Try and get this thing lined up so you can. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking this thing. There we go. There we go. Switch. Okay, so let's see here. What do we got here? Yeah, it's good colors. You guys picked some really good ones. Ancient copper. I'm not sure what ancient. We used Yamagata red. The kit is a antique bronze. I guess antique bronze is the name of the kit. Let's see here. Yeah, I like the antique plating on these pens because they don't pick up scratches, they don't pick up fingerprints. I mean, I have the same pen that I actually use the same pen for. I just switched. I just made that closed end pen, so I was kind of using that. But I've been using the same pen for writing the notes in my orders for like ever. For I mean many years. And I mean, it looks brand new still. You know, like it just doesn't get messed up. So I really like those antique platings. So Connie was asking. Let's see here. I'm probably not going to put it on my site. If you want it, I can just send you an invoice through my site and then check out. It'll be like a custom order kind of thing. But it'd be the same as if I put it, like listed it on there. So just, you know, shoot me a DM on Instagram or wherever, and we'll get together and we'll figure it out. It'll be fun. You just choked on a Twinkie. Stop it. So let's scroll up a little bit here. Make sure. See here. Yeah. I'm just not a huge fan of the fountain pen thing. You know, it's cool. Like I get it. And there's a lot of people, there's especially a lot of people that do handwriting stuff, you know, that I think there's advantages to having fountain pens because there's so many different types and things like that. But for me, I just need to write down a quick note and all that stuff. And I just really don't want to mess with like ink and doing, you know, filling. Let me just slap in a new refill and move on. Oh, you'll put up a few vids on the turning? Sweet. I would appreciate that. That would be cool. All right, so let's see here. And so actually, so Connie, do you, I don't know if I saw, I don't know if I have in this plating a fountain. I mean, I can get one if you want, but I don't think I have it. I just have Rollerballs in that specific plating right now. But I can get a fountain like nib for it, you know, section nib if you want that. So just let me know, like I said. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was pretty fun. I'm glad that I'm also really glad that I went with the antique brass. I'm usually more of a kind of a chrome or silver type person. That's just typically my go-to. But I was looking at these, like a lot of times those rich colors, you know, like those dark blues and the dark reds, golds, and all that kind of stuff, really kind of pop when you have that bronze. So it's kind of, I was like, yeah, I think this is a bronze, you know. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll post a reel, and you should be able to see a lot better getting it with my phone. With I can manipulate the lighting and all that stuff a lot better. So I'll be posting that later on today if you want to kind of see this a little bit more up close. And again, these blanks, I'm going to make more. So we got 10 mystery boxes, the subscriptions. So I'll make, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 of them left right now. And then I'll make another batch of them. And so the rest of them will go in the mystery boxes for you guys. So you'll be able to turn these things up. But like I said, I mean, you know, going with a kit pen, obviously this looks pretty good with, you know, this kind of color combination. It's really hard to put together mica powders, any combination of them, and make them look terrible, I think. But you know, it's going to look good with that. But that closed end pen kit, if you know, saw that one that I did with the Artemis kit from Bullseye Turning Supply, this would be a good blank for that. And then obviously I think this would look pretty wicked in a bespoke pen. So lots of different things, you know. Yeah, I think the contrast really, I think it would just, I don't know. I don't think that silver, because there's also this Junior George in silver, antique silver. And I don't know. I don't know that it would look as good. They're made for each other. That's true. Yep. So let's see. Yeah, I know. I usually lean towards silver on things. I'm just not like a gold kind of a bronze kind of, just not my thing usually. But anyway. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this thing come together. That was pretty awesome. Big thank you to the super chatters who picked the colors on this. Really good one. I'm seriously considering adding this one because I want to start kind of adding a few more color schemes to my normal inventory on my website once I kind of start really moving into the round blanks on the Alumilite clear blanks. So this will be on the list. I got a few of them already that I'm going to start adding as we go. The intergalactic pen blanks should be up. I'm hoping they should be up on my website where the heck are they? Next week. So that's the newest blank to my website that's going to be in the regular inventory. I'm gonna grab this light again because I think it's gonna help. I'll show you that. So these guys will be coming. I'm planning to. So I have all of them made for the regular length. I need to do the final what the final dimensions are going to be. But at this point, what I'm thinking is I'm going to go with a 5 1/4 or so, 5-inch for like kit blanks. And then also offer these in a bespoke length. And it's probably going to be like an 8 1/2 to 9-inch on that, something like that. So, but I haven't fully committed on that yet. There's just a few things, you know, with the listing that I need to kind of settle on. But these should be available next week sometime. And then again, don't forget the team color blanks for, you know, like celebrating the kickoff of NFL football season. Those are on my website. Those are on discount for, you know, 15% off if you just use the code touchdown. So we got all kinds of things going on, guys. Tons and tons of things happening. And we got the links to the pen kit that I used today, the Junior George over at Turner's Warehouse. That's down in the description below. I don't know if there's anything else though. That's about it. So, and Connie, I'll get with you on like Instagram or wherever, whatever's easiest for you. Just shoot me a message and we'll figure out how to get you that pen. Pretty cool. It'll take a little while. I'm going to get some pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably kind of keep this for a little bit and then we'll get it out to you. So I think that's about it. Does anybody have any questions or any concerns or comments or any of that kind of good stuff? Let me know. I'll kind of wait around just one little second here. Bama girl, how's it going? We do have some crimson blanks, by the way, up in this store. So I guess I can drop a link to that while I'm kind of waiting. So the team colors, like I said, just when you're checking out, enter the code touchdown to save 15%. There we go. And actually, I have the link to the pen kits if anybody wants to check that out too. The Junior George pen kits, I forgot that I had that up right there. It's right there. I think that's about it, guys. And then be looking. I'll drop announcements on the the email newsletter as well as on Instagram, Facebook, all those places when the intergalactic blanks come out. I'm super excited. That's the newest, like, where I like kind of created something, like, just I had an idea in my head and I'm like, I'm gonna see how this looks, and it was like awesome. So I'm pretty excited about that one. You sold what now? You have an idea now. Nice. Sweet. Yeah, we do have some crimson. It's called the blank's called Crimson. So can't say that I'm a Alabama fan myself, but we do have the blanks, and they actually, that's probably, not to let you guys all brag, that's probably one of my most popular blanks for the team colors. Like, I've sold a ton of those things, so I think people like them. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, guys. Yeah, so just follow that link to the first link that I just dropped, and you can check out all the team color blanks, or just search on my site for Crimson, and it'll pop up. So yeah, check it out. They're all at home, though. I don't have my inventories at the shop because I do shipping at my house. So can't share anything. Sorry about that. All right, so I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. So next week, Wednesday, we'll do a little bit more resin casting. It should be pretty fun. I actually have a pretty cool idea that I think we're going to do. Finally have something in advance. I'm slowly catching up so that I can actually look forward and plan things out again. But I think it should be pretty fun. So we'll be looking for that. Oh, and the mystery box number 3 is on its way. I might actually be getting it today or maybe Monday. So that video will be coming out. I have no clue what what they sent this time, but it should be pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully you guys are too. And we're going to do another premiere once that launches, once we post that video. That was really fun. So we'll have to see. I'm not sure I may change my release schedule. I'm not sure yet, but we'll be doing a premiere regardless. It just may be on Sunday or maybe another day. I'm not sure yet. So be looking for that though. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. I will see you guys on Wednesday, and I hope you can get in the shop and get some projects done of your own. And if you do something, share with me, tag me on Instagram. Let me know that you got that, because sometimes I miss the things on the feed. So if it's really cool, tag me and I'll check it out. So anyway, guys, have a great night, and I will see you on the next stream.